Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blend and smooth, like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, thinking proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out, all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another stream, another live. Of course, you know where you're at. You're at Spartan Institute Network. The show is called Operation Hangout. And this ugly little guy, yes, I'm saying this little ugly guy, is my co-host, little Garut.
That's Bear Claw. It is Bear Claw. Bear Claw. 6 foot
Some reason there's a
tall.
delay on your mic.
I know. It's some come with a neck weight. 6 foot tall, close to 300 pounds. Nothing little on this guy. I'm more likely the more confident. Yeah. If you got in New York City, there's nothing little about me. If I was little, I would have been jumped every single day.
Yeah, okay.
No, that is facts. They like to jump on weak ass people in where I live at. So if you're little and you look like
I'm not denying that. I'm not saying, like,
Mhm.
weak. You're beyond weak. I give you that. I'll give you a little credit tonight.
And that's the part because I try not to lose my cool while I live in this crazy ass city called New York City. Especially when you're on the subway and yeah, someone want to mouth off or pop off, and you look like I don't know, a doormat, or look
Mhm.
like a simp. They go after you, but you look like someone who have lost their mind. They will leave you alone.
And
Imagine how
you know
many
what?
crazy.
It's funny, dude. Like, you might make fun of those doormat people, but the doormans make some fucking killing money.
Oh, the one in Manhattan. Oh, please. You think they don't make bread? They make more bread than regular people that work in office.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they make, but from what I understand, they make pretty good money.
No, undercover they make 6 figures.
I'll take that.
But you got to think about it. The people they are doormen who escort, say hello, and they greet. And the people that live in their building are either
Mhm.
multi-millionaire or multi-billionaire. So, what kind of tip you think they get from the tenant that live in those such buildings?
Oh, at
They
least a
have
couple
to be
hundred every time.
a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand. It could be anything. You never know.
Yeah.
So
But
when I say
anyway,
undercover that makes six figures, they coasting.
yeah. So let me ask you a question, David.
But
You watch series, right? You watch different Cubs series, right?
hmm
All right. Do you think some shows have way too many seasons?
ladies and gentlemen, see the question that he asked me. He said, do I think that so many shows got way too many seasons? If that's the case, more than half of the show that you watch today should have been long gone a long time ago.
Oh, I agree.
And if that was
Once.
the case, here's the problem. American creativity would have got shot in the foot because to create another show that generate money for them that only stay within 8 seasons, that is not the case. I call my lovely sister who I've been abusing because I'm a nerdy ass person. And I told my assistant, give me a list of all the shows that have more than 8 seasons. And what I saw, I was like, people don't talk about One Piece like it's that bad. The biggest offender have been here since 1989.
Time out. I never said it was bad that bad a show. I'm just trying to get into it. I haven't got into it. I'm tabbing with it now.
I know. There's some shows should have been long gone. When I mean long gone, like why is not dead yet? Why can't do it like that show you have Comedy Central where that same character always get killed off? If you know what I'm saying.
Um, what is it called? South Park.
South Park, that show. The one particular character always got get knocked out, he get taken out. They should have done a lot of these shows like that. The number one culprit, The Simpsons.
That's another one.
You know how many seasons they have? And still going? 36 seasons. Seriously. 36 and ongoing. Some shows I can't say that should die after 8 seasons because of the type of genre it is.
Hmm.
Because let's be real though. You take such a series or storyline based on the type of character they are and what they do. It's not something you could just write off and say, "Oh, we'll do it only for 8 seasons." It doesn't work that way because the type of complex storyline they're building on these shows, it deserves to go that far. The Simpsons does not deserve that. It should have been dead in the late 90s. It did not. Law and Order, Law and Order SVU, that's understandable. You talk about police work, detective, crime that's going. You know how much crime we see in New York City if you were living out here? You know how many storylines you can make out of so many unique events that you see in your local news? You can
Hmm.
get a different perspective about how you might feel about that particular crime. Law and Order franchise is acceptable because there's a lot of stuff that didn't make no sense at all, or they give you a different perspective to see how that thing played out. So I give it that.
I
NCIS,
don't. I don't. That's not an excuse. Don't give that excuse. That's a crutch.
the reason I'm saying that I give them that there are a lot of memorial show or memorable show, want to call it, on as Law and Order that it pertained on a particular event, particular crime that took place in a certain neighborhood, and it almost had the whole entire city town erupted. Like Everybody want explanation, right? Somehow I don't know how some of these shows got some of the dirt they're not supposed to get because we know this very well. When it comes to media, if you try to make a show or an episode based on real life event, certain information you not put it on your TV show. You put it completely blur it out, but they have a unique way of getting these information and trying to twist it so you won't think this is legit. And when you start to pay attention, you're like, y'all almost close to getting sued for this, right? I can tell you, Law and Order franchise almost got sued a couple of times because there was something they put out there that were pertaining to in cases, even though they didn't put the exact information. They gave you a bunch of hint.
All right, I want to before you move on, I want to list a couple of these shows. This came up just on my Google search really fast. All right,
Go
right.
ahead.
The Simpsons number one. We both knew that. Family Guy, another one. That one he's coming back. I don't know how. Law and Order. Jesus Christ. Frasier, Mask, Happy Days, Cheers, Married with Children. I didn't know they had 11 seasons. Actually, that one. Big Bad Theory, Two and a Half Men, King of the Hill, Jeffersons, Roseanne. How the fuck that Roseanne has 9 goddamn seasons? I want to know. Number one. Everybody Loves Raymond. One Day at a Time. How I Met Your Mother. King of the Queens. The Fact of Life. The Office. Gunsmoke. 24. Is it 24 a series? I thought that was a Oh man. What's it called it? I thought there was a never mind. I'm thinking of a different show. Club your entertainment. Am I missing
Share
that?
share it on the screen so everybody can see because this is
Yeah,
something
I'm
that
going to in 1 second. I want you to finish your thought. American Dad and NCIS. 20 goddamn seasons. Jesus Christ!
this
Wow.
is why I've been, ladies and gentlemen, I've been trying to make it super clear about the American media production arena, how it operates. And you want to get on Japanese having a multiple seasons, but you don't realize the main culprit, y'all living in that same turf. They drag out shows. When they drag shows that should not be alive, and they're milking it.
Mhm.
You know how much money they're making off that? That's their cash cow. Friends, 10 seasons. You see them go past 2 seasons when they're still into my own script from their own storyline. Frasier supposed to be a spin-off of Cheers, right? Tell me how that gone that far.
Dude, Friends is another one that went to a lot of seasons too, but the spinoff died of instantly with oh man, what was the spinoff? Do you remember? Remember it?
I forgot what the spin-off that one.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Before I do that, hey Marina, what is going on? Let me share my screen really fast. I want you guys to see this. This is only a brief list. This is a quick Google search, nothing crazy. I wasn't going to details because there are a lot of seasons. Like you see,
Mash, old school, 11 season. Happy Day, old school, 11th season. Cheers, old school, 11th season. Come on, everybody know about Married with Children. They went long enough. 11th season. Two and a Half Men. Wasn't that funny? 12th season?
I think it ran so much because they did change the actor halfway through some point. Remember that,
Yeah, I remember that. But 12th season, Two and a Half Men? King of the
bro?
Hill was a reject version of The Simpsons. But yet it went 13 seasons. The Jefferson, that was an old school show. 11 seasons. Roseanne, I don't know. We're gonna have a bunch of argument about Roseanne. I'm sure that a lot of people who don't like Roseanne Barr, that a lot of people don't like her comedy, that a lot of people don't like her material. 9 seasons. Come on. Everybody love Raymond.
Yep.
Raymond. Everybody love Raymond. This is the guy who wasn't acting, was just being himself He is not that funny, but people say he was funny. They dragged him out for nine. Nine. Should have been 4 seasons. But he went for nine. One Day at a Time, 1975. 9 seasons. How I Met Your Mother. Come on. 9 seasons. King of Queens. That comedy was a little lackluster. That got dragged out for 9 seasons. Back to Life. Old school show. 9 seasons. The Office. Weird. But 9 seasons? Gunsmoke. Here's the problem with Gunsmoke. Everybody who know about Gunsmoke, they know they is the old school OG show, right? The fact that they were able to get 12 initial seasons and 8 more. What did I tell you about the media production? 24. No disrespect. 24 is considered to be the rival to Blacklist. Not only it was very entertaining, it was it was gravitating. You wouldn't even notice that it was 9 seasons, but it did. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay, no offense. Is that show funny? No,
So
seriously.
was it again?
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I've never heard of it, to be honest with you.
It's a white people show. It wasn't that funny, but they dragged 10 seasons out of it. American Dad is from the same production company of The Simpsons. It got over what? 15? That is lame as hell. But it got 15 seasons. NCIS. This is a Navy level version of Law and Order and CSI. Hey man, Joe, you need it in
Hey,
this
Mandro, what's going on?
conversation.
I'm
You need
actually
it in
going
this
to drop the,
conversation.
hang on a second. I'm going to drop the link in. Mandro, if you want to join us, please welcome. This is a topic you might like to join us with.
NCIS. This is a very unique show. I'm not gonna lie with anybody who would argue with me. This is like the next level version of Law and Order plus CSI. Because you're dealing with navies. A lot of the controversy that goes on in military bases or military branches when it comes to doing investigation, it gives you an inside scoop of how far things are being laid out. And sometimes it's like it's covered up in a way it make it look like it's right there in your face, but you're not gonna recognize it. And it had very unique story. A unique storyline. It played a purpose. I think when they changed the leadership, remember, one guy had to step down because of he got, I can't say complicit, but his hand was dirty. He cannot be allowed to be in that same position. They got someone else to take over him. But when that happened, there was a chain of reaction that took place behind closed door. That it make you look at the type of Red October spy war going on. Like your job is for to investigate and protect these branches, but at the same time, someone doing some next level undercover thing that.
Mhm.
So this 20
All
seasons,
right,
it's recommended.
all right. Let's welcome my boy on the panel. What is going on, my man? A long time, buddy.
My
What's
twin
up,
brother.
everybody? How's it going?
Not
Been
much.
good.
How you
You
been?
miss.
Yeah, I'm on this episode for the first time on my phone.
Oh,
For the first time on my phone, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I see the topic is interesting. When shows have too many seasons, that's the truth. There are some shows out there that it's like the writers just
keep going and milking the cow.
be it right, and they just don't know what to write anymore. It's ridiculous.
No,
I
they
guess
didn't milk the cow. They over milked the cow. The cow is complaining, like, let me go. My udder is
Right, and
dry. Nothing there.
right, like you got shows like well, I heard But David mentioned Curb Your Enthusiasm. If you like
That show's
dry
lame.
humor, that is a funny show. But I don't see why it went on for so long. I don't know. Like, what I don't know what the ratings were or whatever. But I'm like, that was kind of unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? You got shows like Lost that went on too long.
No, they didn't go. No, the problem is that it goes to because it was lost already. They got lost in their creativity. They don't want to write it anymore. That's why it got that long. It was lost. The
Yeah,
audience was
and I was so interested in seeing the conclusion and the finale of that show, and I never tuned in. I haven't even gone to YouTube to find out anything about it. I just I don't care anymore. You know,
Now they're
you
getting
kind of stop
lost.
caring after a while.
You will get lost watching that show. You were like, "What's this all about again?"
Yeah, but
Like there, like one show I really liked, and I loved how the ending. I wasn't a fan of it, but I do understand why they ended the way they did. Sons of Anarchy. He said it. He was not going to go over 8 seasons. He put it, and he had all career rights. He could, yeah, he had good seasons and bad seasons. Obviously, every show does. But he said, I am not doing over 8 seasons. Anybody can go fuck himself if they want me to do over 8 seasons. He was already said towards the end. He was burned out himself. He just, I was done.
what show was this?
Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. That's another one I haven't watched yet.
Oh, you have no idea what you're missing, bro. I haven't seen the Mayans yet because I haven't got into it yet because I've just been so fucking busy. But like the bunch of here, like Simpsons, great example. We're going over 30 seasons. You gotta cut. You gotta pull the plug eventually. Like,
It's supposed to die out in the '90s. It did not.
bro, they just literally killed off Marge after 30 seasons.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
but they always say they kill somebody, but how often they come back? Kenny is a great example. How many times they killed that son of a bitch off? He's back.
In South Park.
Yeah, it's too many season times. And I do understand these law and order shows. It's a lot of crime, all that stuff, and I get it. But eventually, you got to pull the plug.
Well, Family Guy, 15 season. Seriously, was that funny?
Well, the thing is, I'll say this. I think The Simpsons. I don't know what happened to Family Guy. I think McFarlane is kind of phoning it in at this point, you know. But The Simpsons, they still have some good episodes, you know. In fact, I think this weekend I just made a joke about a boxer, Danny, who just fought today and lost, and which I knew he would. He was fighting Alexander Usyk. So anyway, this guy, like, you know, you have some boxers who get in the ring and they overthink things. He doesn't overthink anything. Like when he's sitting there, you can tell. I'm like, this dude's probably thinking about Homer Simpson or something. And you can, it's funny because if you look at his face at any given time, you can kind of see it. You know what I mean? But The Simpsons, have they gone on too long? I think so, because like, is anyone even watching it anymore? Like, really? I mean, I'm glad they go on because I'll watch it when there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else on TV. I'll just put it on for background noise or whatever. But like, you know what I mean? But like it's one of those, you know, you don't really watch it. It's like having Divorce Court on in the background or something. You're not really watching that. You know what I'm saying? You're not really watching it. You're not. But,
Hold on. Time out. Are you
Mhm.
telling me the United States of America using Simpson as the background or without even watching that how they get their ratings? Is that what's happening
Okay.
right now?
Well, yeah, but who? That's just me. Who else is doing that?
Only time I watch a little Simpsons, it comes out as short on my TikToks or my YouTube stuff or Facebook. That's the only time I watch anything Simpsons. I watch other things more important to my life, to be honest with you. To me, that's like a waste of life and my brain cells at this point.
But the thing is, there was no real storyline in the Simpsons to drag it out this long. And what's crazy about it? Okay,
Good point.
no, hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
I'm
you have
gonna
a
break
good
down.
point. I'm not calling you
No,
off. I'm just saying you have a good point.
I'm gonna break it down so it makes sense. The
Oh boy.
Simpsons, 30 years. So you telling me that Homer is absent from Pokemon who never grows up? Yeah, coconut water. Coconut water.
Asshole. But they finally did. It was 2 years ago, a year ago. Cash finally became the master of Pokemon at 12 years old.
So you telling me Homer is forever 15 or ever 30, whatever his age, for 30 freaking years? He didn't grow up. He didn't catch no height.
Mhm.
Is he Webster? Anybody know the show Webster? It's a little black
Oh,
actor.
Oh, Webster. Oh, Webster. You said, okay, I got you.
I'm vicious. I am being vicious as hell right now. So you tell me Homer is the new Webster now? because he could not grow. He got a growth spur,
No,
and his younger sister cannot grow because you're afraid of her looking different, that you become a 3 or 4 on the TV show. Let's not talk about the baby daughter, the baby sister. You don't know what you're gonna look like. So you kept them that same age for 30 freaking years, 30 seasons. Make it make sense. Homer did not grow old and be like his dad on a wheelchair yet. He forever young. And Marge, that they kill off weekly. Why do you want her to grow out? You think she might walk out on her man and find somebody else? I'm just
yeah,
saying because
yeah, I
it.
don't get it either. Like with Family Guy, I mean, the earlier episodes, like the first 3 seasons, were really good. Now the Boondocks, I do understand why that show kind of jumped the shark because the creator of the show and the original writer of the show, they weren't there for that last season. They were focused on a completely different project. They had nothing to do with it, but
Mhm.
and so that's why that last season just bombed because it was just bad. It really was. But I'm glad they're supposed to be coming back to do another season. Aaron McGruder and the other guy, but because Aaron McGruder created them, and he wrote for them, and he wrote it, of course. But that's why it was so good. Like when you get rid of the creatives, you know what I'm saying? The
Mhm.
people who created it and made it the success that it was.
Mhm.
Once those people are gone, yeah, you might really consider just canceling the show. I mean, because it's not going to be anywhere near as good.
But here's the problem: the Simpsons should have been nuked a long time ago. How you equate cartoon character and there's no growth in that character? You tell me that they midget for the rest of their life, they don't grow, become something else? How long will you have Homer in middle school unless he's a repeated offender?
Oh, you
He
talking
that
about
slow?
Bart Simpson? Yeah,
Bart
we
Simpson,
have
Bart
Bart.
Simpson.
Homer's the dad. Bart's the
I'll give
son.
you
Sorry.
I'll give you a better example. Futurama.
No, please don't.
Well, I
Don't.
mean,
Don't
Futurama
make
was
me.
good all the way through, in my opinion.
It was
Don't let
pretty
me.
decent. I'm not denying it, but I think it should have also ended at 8 seasons. Anything over 8 seasons, to my opinion, is way too much. And
Well,
I
here's the thing.
go ahead.
Here's
Push back.
my pushback to that. Okay,
Mm.
in my experience, there has only been like one show that really needed more than 8 seasons.
No,
That's
sure
Game of
enough.
Thrones. They needed way more time to flesh a couple of things out, and that's why that last season just didn't work because they did. There are things that they didn't flesh out. For example, and spoiler warning. And if you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, you're a loser. Anyway, okay, if you don't, right? What are you doing for real? But anyway, that last season when Danny, loses her shit and does what she does, it's like, okay, wait, hold on a second. I understand that things weren't exactly going her way, a little bit before this, but she's been through way worse. And this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, this is what makes her do that. Like, you guys have seen the ending, right? You saw what Danny did to King's Landing. Okay, you do this is well. Okay, how did you go from where you were to this? You know what I mean? It's like flipping a switch. She just turned into a completely different person out of nowhere. And so nobody liked it. And like things are moving so fast. It's like, okay, when did this happen? How did you set this up? Whereas in the beginning, let's say those first 5 seasons, they were doing a brilliant job of setting things up. And that's because they had source material, the books to go off of. But what a lot of people don't know is the story's not being written. Like we're still waiting on the 6th book to come out, The Winds of Winter, right? And the book that's supposed to come out after that is called A Dream of Spring. Those 2 books haven't been written yet, so we don't have the finale in print, okay? So these guys kind of, Dan and Dave, the showrunners, they just kind of went off on their own thing and did this. And it's like, yeah, no. Again, that show needed more time. If that's what was going to happen, okay, cool. But there was no exposition. There was no transition. There's no build up to get to the end to where that show ended up. You know what I
Now,
mean? So there's
Mandro,
so much context and obvious information missing.
Mandro, I'm
You know what I'm
glad you just
saying?
said that.
It's just, that show did need more, in my opinion.
Mandro, I'm glad you mentioned that because we had an argument or debate a couple of shows back about making a series or movie based on source material, aka books, right? If you're making a movie or a TV to based off a series of books will have in-depth content, right? You can't expect it not to be good if you're not going close to the book material, maybe. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, when you get away from the book material, that's when things go awry. You know, like, well, look at the
So,
success of the Harry Potter series. They stuck to, see what happens when you stick to the books,
hmm
you know? And that series didn't go on forever. Like, just like the topic, the show that you guys are having tonight. I
Akira
agree. A
now.
lot of, yeah, a lot of these
Akira
shows go on for too long, man. Like, Manifest went on too long, dude.
I
What,
give it
what was your example, Sparta?
Manifest was
For
four
example,
seasons.
Walking Dead. They
Oh,
first they were
oh.
close to the story, then they fell off the story. They came back to the story, then they fell back off the story, and that went way too long. I think they should be canceled after season 4, in my opinion. But I do understand that was a cat grabber. It was everybody was obsessed with it. And name one person who did not watch The Walking Dead. Everybody
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't finish it.
David.
You know, I didn't finish it. You know what I'm saying? I even started watching Fear the Walking Dead, but I was like, okay, all right, I'm kind of, where's this going? You know what I'm saying? It's just, where's this going now?
No,
All
I
right.
agree with you 100%. I mean, I got to the point that it was too much. I started watching the Fear the Walking Dead. So I think I watched 2 seasons, 3 seasons tops. Then I go, I'm done with this shit.
It was my issue with Walking
Same
Dead.
here. I think I watched the first 2 seasons, and like you said, 3 seasons tops. It's when that guy who was living out in the wilderness, who's kind of like a cowboy or whatever.
hmm
He was living out there by himself and doing well too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they found him, that season there, I think that was the last season that I watched. That was it. I don't even remember finishing that season.
Now, hear my
You
thing.
know,
I chose not to watch it because I was feeling like this like a rip-off version of Resident Evil because they're both zombie show, and I'm feeling like I have a bad feeling they're gonna drag this series out for some apparent reason because they're not gonna follow the material. Because in my debate, if you make
So,
any TV series or movie based on a book, you need to follow the script. There's a few shows that did not follow the script, and they're losing money because they thought they can play the audience. And that's what I'm trying to speak about. Like, if you're gonna follow the book down to the T. You make your money good. You follow the content, but don't drag it out. Some people drag out show that should have died a long time ago. Why you think I was watching The Simpsons? Because there was no growth in their story. I mean, how you forever young for 30 seasons? What's up?
well,
hang on. So The Walking Dead had 11 seasons. That's way too much. Okay, maybe not
Jesus.
4 this season. Maybe it ended at 8. Okay, I can cut you some credit there. But damn, like I said, the first couple of seasons did follow the story pretty well. Ours is a show. They're not gonna follow everything to the T. Let's be honest here. Let's call ace and ace. But after a certain season, it's like they fell off it. They came back to the story. Like, and when the main character wanted to leave the show, they killed him off. Like, he didn't die yet in the book. At least
But,
what I got to it, at least.
but if you
Yeah,
notice,
and one
go ahead.
of the show I'm bringing up, well, a series that I'll bring up is I think it's called the Vampire Diaries series or whatever.
Oh my god, I heard about it.
Like,
I didn't watch it.
well, here's the thing. So many people were clamoring on me about watching it. Watch it. You got to watch it. This, that, and the other. I said, okay. I finally watched it. And I was like, you know what? After about 4 episodes, I said, okay, this is all right, right? And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, listen, I'm not gonna. I'm about done with this. They're like, no. You have to wait until the originals come. The who? The originals. You have to wait till the originals come. So who the fuck are they? So about season 3, the originals show up. I was like, oh, this is it. And then when you meet one of them, it's like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, cool. So
Mhm.
let me hang around a bit. And so they came in, and that whole time that they were there, it was good. Okay, credit where credit is due. And then I found out they had their own show, and it was on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? So so I streamed it. I watched the originals. I stopped watching Vampire Diaries, started watching the originals. Never returned to the Vampire Diaries. Okay, and so to this day, once the originals left the show, I never returned to it. I really didn't. And that show went on for like a long time. I forget how many seasons they had, but it was a lot. And then so I watched the originals. I watched every season of that. It was great. I love that show. The originals. If you haven't seen it, look it up. You don't need to watch Vampire Diaries to understand what's going on. Don't bother with that. Okay. Don't waste your time. Okay, so my point is, after they did the originals, they wanted to keep the series going, so they made another show about one of the originals' offspring, and the name of that show is called Legacies. So it's like, okay, this has got to be good, right, Sparta? Right, David? This has got to be good, right? And please, plus, when you find out whose child that is, you're like, oh yeah, that's gonna be fantastic, man. This is gonna be good. It was a dumb Monster of the Week show. Like literally, like if you guys go and watch Legacies, no kidding was a Monster of the Week show, and I was like, wow, how the mighty have fallen. The originals actually had a story. It had character development. It had world building. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, that's why like those characters brought so much to the Vampire Diaries. Like it brought world building to that show. It brought new interesting characters to that show. Like there was a guy who was a hybrid of vampire and werewolf. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, and it worked. It actually worked. But like I'm like, you have any idea how easily it was to screw that up, and they managed to not screw it up.
Man,
And
Joe,
then
only
yeah, and so that's why those characters worked in Vampire Diaries. And literally, they just kind of left. No one died, mind you, because you couldn't kill them. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't kill the originals. Like you can't kill them. So it's like they just kind of left town. All right, we're done here. Later. This place sucks. I said I agree, and so I left with them. So, so yeah, like and so yeah,
This
like
is
Vampire
one.
Diaries that
This
went
is
on too long, dude. It went
yeah.
on too long, and like in that series too with Legacies, it's like they just okay. You had a story with the originals, an actual story, and stories for each of the characters, and things built up. It was well written, you know. It was an actual story. The Legacies, not so much. No,
and
not
this
so
and
much. No, and I watched that.
I'm glad
Look, I
I'm
watched
glad
that
you're pointing
show
out.
to the end, Sparta, fellas. I watched that show to the end, waiting for it to get good, or as good as the originals. It never happened. So yeah, save your time. Don't bother, but do watch the originals. That was worth it.
See, man, Joe, you get the point. And this is what I've been trying to point out to a lot of people. When you have original source to make a show very interesting, you stick to it. There have been too many after we talk about. I don't want to bring it up again because people might get sprung up. Star Wars. George Lucas, who screwed up by selling to
George Lucas
Disney.
didn't screw up.
No, he will
George
come
didn't
back.
screw up.
George
Disney screwed up.
Lucas. No, George Lucas. No, correction. Let me be technical about it. George Lucas screwed up to selling to Disney, who later on did it by bending over with no Vaseline grease and did a ditty on it. Yes, I'm being vicious right now because shows like that or series like that or franchise like that should not be massacred the way it did. This is why when you make this episode, this series, jumping the shark when some show have too many seasons, I am still pissed that The Simpsons have 30 seasons. The original, I'm gonna watch it on Netflix when I get a chance. There's some shows that supposed to be according to the book, like The Wheel of Time. They did not follow the material, and they screwed up Amazon saying there'll be no season four because you know why? From first season, people will think they'll follow the book. They lied to the audience. By the second season, they found they wasn't following the book. It started to take a nosedive. Third season, it got even worse. They weren't making their number because they thought they can trick the audience. I know me and Mr. Paul Better will go back and forth, but you have to judge it. That the reason why Lord of the Rings outpaced and outdone the Matrix in the award show because they were stick to the original. The Matrix was not original. They were stolen script
Well,
from
David,
somebody else.
I'm gonna bring a channel up saying FX. I like FX for one reason. Most of their shows usually ends between season 7 and 8. Not
Mm-hmm.
all the shows, most shows. You have an
Mm-hmm.
exception. American Horror Story, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Archer. Those are just for some example. But Justified, 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Sons of Anarchy, 7 seasons. The
Mm-hmm.
Americans will I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second. 6 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So you see where I'm going with this.
I see what you're going with. My thing is, the people who are dragging out shows that should never been dragged out more than 4 seasons, to the point you got 30. American Dad, King of a Hill, what other dumb show that was out there?
There's one show that I expect that it'd be at least 1 or maybe 2 more seasons. The Sopranos.
So, see, crime. Remember I mentioned any type of crime series, it going to go long based on the complex storyline.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but not 20 goddamn fucking seasons, bro.
I
If you
get it.
told me 8 seasons, I'll round her off to 10 seasons. Okay. But 20 fucking seasons,
But
dude, ER, for another example,
Sop-
they would have fucking
the
50 seasons.
Soprano?
What about Law and Order?
No, Soprano.
What's up, Nardino?
Good question.
What about Law and
Law and
Order?
Order.
SVU.
Too many seasons again. Way too many seasons, I think. It should,
I agree.
I'll
But
say-
it's a good show, but it's for it to still be going on. Jesus, you know what I mean?
Criminal Minds. They're at season 20 something.
No,
And see,
16.
this is why I think that, like, one of my favorite shows, especially in recent years, it's one of my favorite shows. It's called Mr. Robot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that show when it was on. Fantastic story. I mean, spectacular acting from everyone involved. Like, I didn't even know who Rami Malek was at the time, you know, and neither did anyone else. Incidentally, no one knew who Rami Malek was, but it was one of those roles for him that was a career maker, you know. But you can catch it now on Netflix. But I was watching it when it was coming on television. You know, I think it came on FX. But yeah, it's a great show. It only lasted. They only did 4 seasons, but they gave you a beginning, middle, and end of a story. It was a complete story, and it was wrapped up at the end. You understood what was going on. You understood what happened, and it was over. It was like, God, thank you. So like I said, I'm agreeing with everything you guys are saying, but that's what I'm saying. Mr. Robot is one that was a good example of how to do it right.
Okay.
It was 4 seasons, and they told a complete story, a great one, and they were done. It was, you know, they were on to something else.
But look at this.
You know,
American animated TV shows. The Simpsons, 36 seasons. They should have died a long time ago. Family Guy, 23 seasons, still going on. Why? And there's no growth. Like I said, this is not Pokemon. I think they're not going to grow up. South Park, 26 plus season. American Dad, 21 season. Arthur, 25 season. SpongeBob SquarePants, 14 season. Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing
it's for
kidding
children.
me?
It was because of children, and like Sparta said earlier, milking the cow.
Milk the
You know what I'm
cow.
saying?
No, they wasn't milking the cow. They were abusing the cow. The cow was filing a lawsuit. I'm being abused.
All right,
Ain't no
guys,
milking
hang on
it.
1 second. Let's get this guy in the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president. Mr. President, welcome back.
Hey,
How was
going on?
All right, he and I were doing. Yeah, hey, Paul. See, Paul and I are doing great because, well, I am. Yeah, I am. I'm doing fantastic today. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah, I think he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, everybody's singing Dubois' praises. Everybody's singing his Dubois' praises. Yeah, he got better the past couple of fights, but
Why
Yeah.
are you hating on him? There's no
I'm
reason
not
to hate
hating.
on Dirty Rock.
I'm not hating.
There's
I
no
gave him
reason.
props. He did improve over his past 4 fights. Over the course of those past 4 fights, he did improve. But to beat an Alexander Usyk, he was never going to do that. Come on, people, be real.
But we just
What's wrong with-
had this long argument. Who was going to beat Alex? He's a generational talent. Who was going to beat him in this era?
not Dubois.
Well,
I don't know.
anybody.
I don't know. So the
Not
thing
any-
is, something.
not anybody,
Not Dubois.
and not AJ twice.
Of course
So
not.
not
Because it's
Fury,
AJ. Well, first of
and
all,
not
it's
Fury.
AJ. AJ sucks.
But I'm just saying. But you're talking about a once in a generation talent, who beat a guy, and you're just down on him. I mean, I don't.
I
get it.
am because there's
I don't
nothing.
get it.
He's the Forrest Gump of boxing. Okay, he is.
Forrest
There's
Gump, he
nothing
came
in
back and
between
won-
those ears.
After
There's
a
nothing
loss
in
to
between.
Usyk, he went on and he won a championship. Give him props. Most guys would have just fell off the planet.
Yeah, like I
I mean,
said
and
earlier,
again,
even on this
This
broadcast.
is in the 70s. We don't have a deep talent pool of talent at heavyweights. We haven't had it since the 90s. So,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
so,
I can't
cut him
deny
some
that.
slack,
I got it. That's true.
He did, and especially with that orthodox British style and whatnot, he got the most out of his talent, man. Cut him some slack, man.
He's that guy like Forrest Gump. He's gonna do this is why Forrest Gump was so good at the army and so good at football. You know, he's gonna go out there and do exactly what the fuck you tell him to do, and that's Dubois. So if you're a coach, you want a fighter like that. The problem is there's not much adjusting going on there on his own. You
And
know,
all I'm saying is he went up against a generational great. Who was going to beat him?
Wow. Like Forrest Gump. Wow.
So,
Wilder.
I mean, I know you lying now. I know
Of course I am.
I know you couldn't even
Of
say
course
that
I-
with a straight face.
This
That's
is
why
why
your mic
man
is not.
drives-
That's why your camera's not on. You can't even say that with a straight face.
That's true. That's so true. I can't say it with a straight face. No way.
Oh my gosh.
And you think I'm
Sorry,
bad.
Sparta. We had to get on that.
And you think
It's like
I'm bad.
the guy I'm talking about, Sparta, is the guy I was telling you about. He's sitting there. You can tell that there's nothing going on in his brain. He's probably sitting there thinking about Homer Simpson. Da, 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 da. Just a moron, dude.
You're good. This is why I named the show the Operation Hangout for a reason.
It's not fair. It's just not, you're not
Well,
being
I
fair.
Hey, his Paul said I'm not being fair. I disagree. I don't like Brit. If you haven't noticed, I think Paul's put this together. I don't like British
wasn't
boxers.
Daniel Dubois was he the only guy who put Usyk down? I'm trying to think. I can't remember. Was there ever knocked down before?
I'm not sure.
So he might have been the only fighter to put Usyk down.
Yeah, by hitting him in the balls.
He didn't hit. No, that was not a low blow, man. Come on,
That was
man.
a low blow.
You know better than that, Mandrell. You know better than that. It was a belt. It was a belt shot. It should have been scored a knockdown. Again, didn't change the tide of the fight, but again, the outcome was the same. So I mean, come on, man. I don't know why you hating. I just don't. I don't get it.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I think you're the only one to put it together. You don't say it out loud, but I think you know. I don't like British boxers. They all fight the same. It's easy to beat. There's no competition there. There's no challenge. It's like, yeah, I've got that figured out, dude. Do something else. And none of them do.
So you never liked Nigel Benn. You never liked. You weren't down with Nigel. You weren't down with or his son Connor Benn. You don't like those guys?
They're okay, but I'm not gonna break my neck or pay to see one of their fights. American boxers, I'll pay to see their fights. British boxers, I'm like, I mean,
But
they're all
again,
right
at least-
sometimes,
listen,
but
Well, again, because of their orthodox style, they're going to be there to fight. They're not going to go running around the ring like a lot of slick guys today and just dance for 12 rounds. That's not what they do. So again, they either going to knock you out or get knocked out. So
yeah, like AJ. All I see with AJ's in the ring is rock'em sock'em, robot.
and that's an exciting fight. I don't want to see a guy just dance around for 12 rounds and like snooze fest. We have plenty of that with Pee Wee Whitaker and Floyd and all these guys who are great fighters. I'm not taking anything away from them. But again, how many snooze fests we said, okay, round 1, round 5, round 8, round 9.
I don't know, man. Floyd's
come
on
on.
fraud alert for me.
I mean, Frank. Shout out to Frank Bruno, man. Frank Bruno again. He was either going to knock you out or get knocked out, and he never disappointed.
And for me, Floyd Mayweather's on fraud alert. That's just me. He's on fraud alert. I mean, he's not some big great fighter. He's the luckiest the luckiest champion in my opinion.
Mhm.
He just came up in an era where there's no one else on that level, so he was never really challenged.
Mhm.
Is he in the great category in terms of was he really talented and really skilled? Yeah, he was. I can't take that from him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
However, there was just no one else quite there.
Now,
You
what
have a
Mandel
few that
said?
was close. What? There was just not enough that
He
was
called
just
Floyd
quite.
a fraud. When I call Floyd a fraud, I get attacked for that. And you
He's
said
on. I say he's on fraud alert. Meaning,
fraud alert.
it's like, But anyway, I don't want to take over the show and talk about make it about boxing. I don't want to be
Yeah,
rude. I'm
like I
sorry.
said, bro, this is a 100% hangout. We're here to,
Yeah.
yes, we have a topic, but we can go off topic. It's not a big deal.
That's fine.
But,
And listen,
Yeah,
guys,
I
I
just wanna-
can't be on too late tonight. I've been working all night. You see this sweaty shirt here? I've been again. We got a big party tomorrow, so I'm getting ready for that. And then after the party, I got a 6 a.m. flight back to the south afterwards for work. So I just been grinding. So I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet tonight. So I may bow out a little bit earlier than I usually do. But and we got the show tomorrow night, which I'm not bailing on. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to stay long either myself because I've been putting down flooring. So
yeah, it's a whole,
and I
yeah.
gotta get right back to-
Shout out to the homeowner over here.
yeah, and so I gotta get back to that in the morning. So yeah, I just want to share that with everybody. Alexander Usyk is the unified, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world again.
He's good. No question.
Yeah, it is,
about it.
and I have to agree with you. Like you said it earlier, and I agree with you. You have to put him in the conversation of is he the greatest of all time? You have to put the greatest of all time conversation. You have to put him in that conversation now.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah, you do. I mean, he's no knockout artist or anything like that, but you have to put him in that conversation. There's no two ways about it. He's like you said. It's just like you said, Paul. He cleared out the division. He's
Yeah.
beaten everyone. Like Sparta and David. He beat everybody twice. All the marquee heavyweights out there, he's beaten everybody twice. So there's no argument. It's like, no, he beat you twice. You can't argue with it anymore. He's just better.
Yeah.
I
And he
totally
makes
agree.
you look. He
I mean-
makes you look bad. So again, we only came up when we talked earlier. We only came up with two heavyweights that would beat him. You talk about a pre-prison Mike Tyson, basically the Tyson who beat Michael Spinks in '88, and we talked about
Ooh.
the Muhammad Ali that beat Cleveland Williams in '66, I believe, 1966. That's it. I mean,
Oh.
because those two performances were like at the elite. Those guys were at their elite height in terms of skill, display, power. Everything was just clicking that night. And those are fighters you wouldn't want to fight on any night. Those are the only guys I give a shot against. But everybody else, it's 50-50. It's even money. Ali after his return from the 3-year layoff, Tyson after his prison stint. I don't think those guys beat Usyk. So I mean, Holyfield would be interesting. I would say that Evander Holyfield that'd be a very interesting contest, but because just his determination, I think would be something that Usyk would have to deal with. But skill wise, the footwork, he's just different. He's just that's a guy. If you had to roll the dice on a guy and say who you don't want to fight, his name comes up, you'd be like, oh man, I gotta fight Usyk. Anybody but Usyk, you know what I mean? So yeah, he's a generational talent, no question.
And this also puts him in the pound for pound. Imagine this: you have a heavyweight. This is a rare occasion. A heavyweight in the pound for pound conversation.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's still for me. I still say Ray Robinson. You just like he did everything perfectly. I just haven't seen anyone do that. That was the things Ray Robinson could do in that ring was superhuman. The guy was just a absolute freak of nature. he was too fast and too strong. Like it's like holy cow! Like can a human being move like that?
Mhm.
It's just yeah. You're not you
Yeah,
know you're not gonna
well,
be. He won
again, if we
100. He
got
won
listen,
118 fights in a row.
and he lost like 20 of them. He lost 20 fights. I know a lot of stuff was later in his career, but again, you also got to look at the competition that he was against. I think his main thing was he's above everybody else, but you talk about the Rocky Grazianos and all those kind of guys. I mean, they were kind of like the British fighters. They kind of came at you. They weren't used to a guy who could literally dance. He used to do a tap dance show. He had his own variety show on TV at one point.
I
So
remember
again,
that. Yeah.
so again, no, not everybody. No, I don't think anybody was prepared, and nobody was trained in the old school. Certainly in the 40s and 50s, nobody was prepared for somebody like that. So for him, you could almost say be like, it was unfair. I mean, the level of his competition was such. All those guys, Graziano fighting Zale or something like that, it would just be a slobber knocker. They would just knock each other down until one guy submitted. Jake LaMotta, all those guys. They just said, "Yeah, you hit me, I'll hit you, and who's the tougher guy?" Nobody was used to that foot speed. Nobody was used to that kind of movement, and I think that's ultimately was where his success was. So, if you want to get on British fighters for their orthodox style, a lot of those old guys, Zale, like I said, Graziano, all those guys from back in the day, they were like that too. I mean, it's.
But what I'm saying is like because I watched a ton of his. I think I've seen every one of his fights. Ray Robinson. Every one of his fights that was been recorded.
Recorded, yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he did everything correct and perfectly. He was just a perfect boxer. And it's just like everything from slipping to step backs, sway backs, step ins, everything. Like you say, his footwork was amazing. But just everything the guy did was, I mean,
I get it,
just
but he
perfect.
never fought a guy on that level.
But I'll say this. During his time, like I've seen interviews with him, and he was saying, I remember him saying that he was in training 10 to 11 months out of the year. And so I think that played a bigger part of it than a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, you put Sugar Ray Leonard and Sugar Ray Robinson in the ring together. I think that'd be a very competitive. It might be, but I'm just saying that's what I'm talking about. Is he fighting a guy on that level? Because if you put Sugar Ray Leonard in that era against those same people, I think you would have the same result.
Well, yeah, Ray Leonard, yeah, I think so.
Saying.
Because
that's what I'm saying. He never fought a guy that had that skill set, so he was always going to outdo those other people. The only guys who beat him were just like, you want to talk about either he was off that night or the guy was just so relentless that he just ultimately just wore him down after a while.
And
but
plus
again,
it
wasn't expected to. You couldn't, again, nobody was prepared for anything like that. You saw a lot more of those fighters later on in the 70s and the 80s when you had the Four Kings era and whatnot, were guys who were able to combine the boxing with the skill and the power and all that kind of stuff. Those guys were just rare. You had other guys in that era, Willie Pep. Now, he didn't have any power, but certainly the foot movement, the hand speed, the ring generalship. A lot of those guys had that, but they didn't put it all together like Robinson did. I mean, it was almost like somebody went to the future and got his DNA and put him in that era, and it was like, okay, boom, that's it. He might have been a mutant,
The only thing I was gonna add to your conversation, you guys, is George Makros. It's a upcoming Greek boxer. Keep an eye on him. You're gonna see he has a mean hook, bro. I've seen his fights, and then he's pretty good, believe it or not. And give it a couple more years, and he fights out of LA right now. He's originally from Philly, but he moved to LA to get more better what's called a coaching down there. And I see a couple of his fights, and he's gonna be a head turner when he comes around.
Yeah.
And his name is George Michaels?
Makros.
Makros, okay.
Yeah, Greek guy.
Makros, okay.
I put his name right in the chat so you guys can see what it is. And he started all, he got famous with TikTok and all that stuff. But his first line of work was being a boxer, and You don't see a lot of his stuff out there because he's not that famous. But when you find stuff, he's a good fighting style, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's gonna come, like, especially if he gets a big promotion behind him. Yeah, that's when the fame and the that's when your name really gets out there.
Yeah.
You have to be signed to a big promoter.
Yeah, like I said, he's not a sign or I don't know if he's signed anybody, but I think, like I said, a couple of his fights, and he's the underdog right now. He goes in like people are like, oh, he's like a nobody, but when he fights, he fights. Yeah, it's good. But anyway, let's get back on the topic. Paul, what do you think about these too many seasons? It was your idea to do this show, remember?
It was I don't remember that.
A while back.
honestly,
Yeah, we were talking about it a while back.
I think I might have talked about movies that might have gone on too long, too many sequels. But as far as TV shows that have gone on too long, honestly, I don't think I've watched that many that have gone on for that long. I might have been in and out, not being necessarily
Mhm.
dedicated to any one. If I was going to say one that probably went on too well, is probably Smallville. I mean, you take basically 10 seasons to get from Clark to Superman in his finale, and even then, the guy, he did not want to be in the Superman costume for some reason. And so at the very last shot of it was he basically rips his chest open, and sees the S. You never see him really in the full uniform because
That makes
he
no sense
insisted
why
that he
he
did.
didn't want to.
I guess he didn't want to be typecast as that. But it's not like he went on to do a ton of stuff anyway. So you might as well take advantage of it if it's in front of you. But just dragging it out, until you get to Superman, in terms of him ultimately embracing his identity. And I think that was, certainly went on way too long. The other one I could think about, and these are kind of shows that where the main characters are gone, and it's like it's not the same. Like you're kind of dragging it out. So the earliest show that I remember is Good Times. When James Evans left the show, I mean, yeah, I think they tried to stretch it out and they tried to bring in other people or whatnot, and it wasn't same without James Evans there as the father in the show. They kind of, there was some sort of contract dispute or whatever, and then they basically wrote him out of the show to said he died and all that, and film he had to go on without him. I mean that was that was distasteful. Another one is Happy Days. Again, I'm going way back. I'm the oldest guy here, so I'm going way back into the 70s here. But again, once Richie Cunningham, Ron Howard left the show. Again, I think it lost its appeal at that point in time. You try to kind of go on without him. The last show that comes to mind is like 2.5 Men. Again, Charlie Sheen was the show. And so, again, he had his problems. He was talking about winning and he was on his, substance problems and whatnot. And they brought in Ashton Kutcher to try to take the role in. So I think a show goes on too long. I think certainly when main characters leave, when people get either written off or they die, they have problems or whatever, and you try to keep a show going with new characters when you're so built up familiarity and fan base for the existing ones. So I think those are the ones, and I mentioned two of them where that happened with Happy Days and 2.5 Men. But certainly Smallville, from what I've watched, and I haven't watched, all these series. I looked at a link that had shows that say went on too long, but I haven't had the time to follow a show religiously since I was a kid, since the 70s and early 80s, to say that a show went on too long. I think probably if I had to bring up maybe one more, and it wasn't so much a show went on too long, I think that the show changed. And so, like, Battlestar Galactica was certainly at the time. I'm talking about the original one, not the reimagined series. The original 1978 Battlestar Galactica. It came out like a bullet. It just dashed. It just was so it was must see TV every week. And then after the first season, I guess it was because either budget or whatever, they changed. Once they got away from the Cylons and they started bringing in all these other types of things that kind of fell off. And then when Shogun went off the air, then the fan base was such, well, look, you need to bring the show back. And they came out with Galactica 1980. which really didn't land with the fans that much. So it was just you're trying to resurrect something that it was like a comet. It came in 78 into 79, kind of came in like a flame. Boom, very excited. To this day, fan base is still. We talked about Ghostbusters a few weeks ago. Battlestar Galactica fan base is huge and it's loyal, but a lot of those guys are still, even with the reimagined series, which a lot of people say was quote unquote better, but I still certainly have an affinity for that first season of Battlestar Galactica, and so that one I think they kept trying to resurrect it, change some things around, introduce new characters and whatnot, and it just didn't work. So I don't know if per se there is such a thing as a show that may go on too long. It just depends on obviously if the show is popular, like MASH, which you guys probably never saw, went on for forever, and it was still pretty popular when it went off the air. You know what I mean? So again, that credits the writing and keeping it keeping it fresh. But for a show to go on that long is certainly commendable. And so you had a point, David?
Since you mentioned that, there are 3 shows I want your honest opinion on: The Simpsons, Family Guy, and American Dad.
See,
Why do
I
those-
haven't been. I might have been on The Simpsons maybe for the first year or two, and then I got out. Like I said, there's very few series that I have watched, certainly in my adulthood, that have captured my interest every week, that kept me for years. Now, the last series I really got into was Game of Thrones. I'm talking about something that you watch and then you're looking for next week's show. I'm not even talking about the binge watch, because honestly, I didn't watch Cobra Kai series. And initially I binge watched the first 3 seasons of Cobra Kai to get caught up. Sorry. But I didn't.
We're gonna fight, Paul. We're gonna fight. That's one of my favorite
I'm
series.
saying I'm sure it is, but I'm just saying I just didn't have the time to watch any TV in real time. I'm a YouTube guy primarily, and then if I do watch a show, I'll watch it later, or I'll binge watch or something if I have time. But as you've seen, certainly over this last week and the weeks to come, I don't have a lot of time for anything. So I can't say. So maybe The Simpsons didn't sound like it went on too long, because I may get into it and then I may cut it off and then I get into it again. It doesn't. I don't have the fatigue of watching the show every week and not getting bored with it. You know what I mean? But it makes sense. I mean, obviously in a cartoon space, everyone's staying young. Like Bart doesn't grow up. You know what I mean? Or I mean, it's weird with a cartoon. Now I know the Flintstones did that. You know what I mean? Like Pebbles and Bam Bam. They became teenagers and adults and everything. So sometimes they'll take that liberty and try to do that and try to age the characters up a bit. But it's hard to kind of keep that energy for a long period of time. It's like, how long? Show's been on for 10 years. How long is whoever it is going to be a baby? What's that?
36 season for The Simpsons.
Yeah, but
It make no sense.
It makes sense to some, because again, no show is going to be on for 36 seasons like that, and if it's not popular, if it's not up in the ratings, somehow they drop it. And with the producers, it's all about the ratings. So somebody's patronizing. If they got bored, it should have ended 20 years ago. But apparently, it still holds a place in America. It was iconic at the time. I mean, I remember when it came out, and it was just that and Married with Children. They kind of came out around the same time, and that was a major culture change in how TV shows were presented, and just the sort of characters that they gave us. I mean, these sort of dysfunctional families, and for all the guys who talk in the manosphere and stuff, I think it also introduced sort of these sort of weak-minded men. Al Bundy was a weak-minded man. The father in The Simpsons, whatever, is not is incompetent. I don't even know how this guy has a job, quite frankly. But Homer, I mean, but basically, that's the modern male image that's in the show. And then you got shows like Everyone Loves Raymond, and just these sort of simpy kind of guys that seem to define. Again, I go back to Good Times with James Evans, tough, stern, authoritative man, and hey,
What?
family guys are off the table.
What? Simpsons suck.
Nothing's off.
Come
the
tell me
table.
something.
So
Simpsons
again,
suck.
I
Come tell me
I can't speak on, like I said, if I've watched 2 whole seasons of The Simpsons, that was probably too many. But I'm just not one who's watched a lot of those. But certainly, again, if a show changes, you write a character out and you bring somebody else in. And I know soap operas. Again, I know none of us. I don't know if you guys are into that, but soaps. Obviously, a lot of these soap operas have gone on General Hospital and One Life to Live, went on for 50 years and stuff. And it's different when they write a character off and they bring the same person in with a new actor or whatever. It's it's just different. When they do that. But yeah, I typically don't like when Al Ben was not how I remember it. The guy was his lifelong was a shoe sales, worked in a shoe store. You know what I mean, so in a job that he hated, had really no initiative whatsoever. And again, he just was lucky, I guess. How do you even afford the house? Because the wife didn't work. So how are you going to support a house with a wife and 2 kids on working in a shoe store's salary? I don't get it.
So
I don't
Good
see how
question.
that
Good
came off.
question.
But but yeah, I mean, but he became sort of the counter culture image. When you had Mike Brady from the Brady Bunch, or like I said, James Evans from Good Times, or Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show, before all the stuff later on. But nevertheless, the image of the American dad was certainly something that was respected. And when it came to Married with Children and The Simpsons, that whole image just got blown out the water. And men were just portrayed as, again, these incompetent, naive, cavemen, so to speak, who, somehow they got by, but even their own families didn't respect them, even in the show. Bart doesn't respect his dad.
Never.
The Bundy's kids, I mean, Kelly and
Oh, God.
Bud, they didn't respect their dad.
Nope.
So again, what else? The only thing that Fox had going on that time that I really liked and appreciated, but unfortunately they didn't have kids, show I still love to this day, is Rock. That show to me was really a very realistic portrayal and a good representative of a good man, and with his wife. They didn't have kids, but certainly I think that was one of the last really positive black male images that I saw on television was Rock. Again, kind of not this brightest guy, but he was a good-hearted guy, hardworking man, stood for what was right. And I just thought that but that show had a very short life. It wasn't on for that long. But it was
Yep.
one of the last shows where I saw men that were, proud men on the show. So that's just my opinion. But again, I haven't watched everything that's been out since then. But certainly,
somehow they got a bunch of garbage that show like The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, who, like you mentioned, Bart never aged. So you tell me he forever in middle school, that means repeating classes every year? Know what you're telling
yes.
me?
Let me ask you guys a question really fast. Do you guys consider reality shows, series, or show, whatever you want to call it?
I call that garbage. Straight up garbage. No
yeah,
offense.
I'm not a fan. And I know my daughters, they love Love Island is like the new thing every week they're in. And they still watch the Love and Hip Hop or Real Wives of Housewives of this
Oh my
particular
God.
city or whatever. So yeah,
The reason I bring that up is a show
They're
that
into that?
unfortunately, yeah.
Sadly.
My wife and I, we have no idea why, but
Yeah, I can't. To answer your question, Sparta, I can't stand it either. I don't watch reality television. I think my reality TV days were done after Flavor of Love season 3.
the reason I say
probably
I wanna bring
mine
this up-
just to kind of dovetail it. I did have a favorite show. I had to dust it off a little bit. I
You're a pretty short person, are you?
loved American Chopper. Loved it.
That was a good show. I can't
Yeah.
deny that.
Yeah.
That was
That was
real.
different. That was different.
One thing I do know about that show, that's how they were in real life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not.
They don't. I don't know if they talk now. The son and the father. I think.
I actually
they still got
follow them on They have a YouTube channel now.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah, not in together, separately. Vinny has his own one. Vinny's not very active as much, but Paulie Jr. just did his opening, and he's pretty active. He does a show every weekly, I think it was. Senior is somewhat active, but not as much. I'm more active than he is. But what I was going to say is a show came back a couple years ago. I didn't know this. And it came back to my radar late because I don't have cable. The Jersey Shore.
I'll make a confession here. That was a bit of a guilty pleasure. I admit.
What?
I watched the first 2 seasons of that just to see what all the hoopla was.
Mandrell, are you hearing this,
about it.
Mandrell?
I watched it. I confess.
So I cannot deny that Paul's right. The first 4 seasons was it was okay. Whatever. It is what it is. Everybody
It might have been 4 because again they had a season as 10 shows then. So yeah, so I've definitely watched more than 2 seasons.
Now is up to like 20 season. Now they're calling it the Jersey Shore Vacation.
Mariana, I hope this doesn't destroy your opinion of me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Mariana. I hope my image hasn't been like I said,
What?
I haven't watched in a while. Maybe the first 4 seasons, and I haven't watched it since. So
now, ladies and gentlemen, this topic is one of the main reasons why I need to leave the country. There's so much garbage on TV.
David, I'm gonna give you a new flash. Is everywhere garbage?
No, if I go to another country, they will put a.
are you kidding? Nollywood is
you're on drugs.
You be watching that Nollywood stuff on now, man.
No, I don't watch Nollywood. I don't watch too much Nollywood. I'm sorry.
So if you move to the country, what are you going to watch then?
Some Japanese shows, some Chinese shows.
I'm
Well, you can
telling
watch
you
that
right
from here.
now.
You can watch that from here.
I'm telling you right now, most of the stuff you're gonna watch overseas is imported from America to there, and it is in subtitles.
I don't need to watch it subtitle. I don't need to watch.
I'm telling you, what
I don't want
you're
to.
gonna
Ladies
see.
and gentlemen, I don't want to watch subtitle or Jersey Shore. I will shoot my TV if I see it.
So they came back about now it's on season 8 going on. I just looked it up, so I assume it's the 8th season. Most of these guys are recovery addicts. Nothing wrong with that. Hats to them for opening up and sharing their story. But 8 seasons of this stuff to
8
show me
seasons
how
too long.
rich they got off the show.
8 seasons too long.
Well,
Bro.
again, but we gotta define that their seasons are 10 episodes. Back in the day, a season was 26 episodes. So you gotta, when we say the season went on too long or what have you gotta keep that in mind. You did 26 seasons, then you did
Correction,
your reruns
actually.
until the
Yeah,
fall.
but here's my thing to that. The 26 episode season, 26 episode season, I think they should, number one, I think they should go back to that for one. But in that but within that 24 to 26 episode season, they actually told a story.
Right.
The arc, it was a beginning, middle, and an end to a story line that they told. Today, that's not there anymore. It's like they're not telling a story. It's like it goes back to that show I told you guys about earlier, Legacies. Where I told you they took the Vampire Diaries, that series, way too far and too long. Yeah, Legacies is about nothing. It's a Monster of the Week show. There's no real story there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So and it goes back to like when I guys thought you guys have conversations about Star Wars and other science fiction series, right? Okay, what audience wants is a good story. You know what I mean? They want to see their characters do things, but within the context of a story. There has to be a
I'm glad you
reason
say
why
that.
your hero is a hero, a reason why the villain is a villain. And this is why
So-
One Piece is still going so strong. People are like, well, that's good. You can count you watch One Piece, man, Drill, and that's been going on for 20 some odd years. Yes, but it's a continuous story. It's done an incredible job of world building, fleshing out the world, fleshing out the characters, character building, building up political intrigue. You understand why the villains are villains, and not every villain is an actual villain. Some are evil, but some of them are doing the mess up stuff that they're doing for very like Doflamingo. Like the reason why is he an evil bastard? Yes, he is. But when you see his backstory, you're like, oh well, no wonder you mad. I get it. They lynched you and your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, no wonder you mad. I get it. You know, they're not just mustache twirling villains, and that's why it's so successful. And if you're reading the manga, especially up to this week, oh my god, you know what I mean? The things that we're finding out now, that's a perfect example of how you write a story long term. It is one of the greatest works in all of fiction. It really
Now,
is. I mean, as far as writing goes, like seriously, there's not much. There's nothing that's topping that I can think of off the top of my head. But as far as going world building, fleshing out the world, fleshing out the characters, all that stuff that's important to telling a story and having the audience understand what's going on, it's done a masterful job of it,
now,
and now
since
it's paying
Mandel
off.
mentioned that, since Mandel said that, let me give you the opposite. You have The Simpsons that have 36 seasons, about 794 episodes. What storyline does The Simpsons have in that one? Not a goddamn thing. Next on the chopping block, Family Guy. 23 seasons, 436 episodes. What storyline does Family Guy have? Not a goddamn thing. And the next victim, American Dad. 21 seasons, 365 episodes. What ridiculous storyline does these three franchises have? Not a goddamn thing.
Oh, they
But
have one
if
thing in
you
common. They have one thing in common. You're lying. Both the dads are idiots. Both the kids are idiots. The wife are dumb bimbos. That's common. They can't have a crossover, dude. They made a fucking movie of Simpsons. That's how popular it is. I'm
and
not gonna
yet
lie. I did watch the movie. The movie is not that bad actually.
but yet you talk about One Piece. One Piece have what they call a personification of good storytelling. I read the manga. I watched One Piece. The type of storyline it flushed out, the idea, the character creation, the world creation, the backstory to each individual character that shows
And you're
up
right, David.
in that
I'm not
series.
disagreeing that. I'm
It
not
it, it
disagreeing
make
with what you were
it
saying.
make it very very unique in itself because the thing is if you watch it as far I've watched right now 1,130 plus episodes, you wonder about other characters when they're gonna pop up. Like, don't they have beef with these people? Don't they want to have revenge? Don't they want to? You be so hooked to certain characters. That's why I say that is one franchise that every fan in that particular franchise have an individual character they relate to, and there are too many of them because it's unique storyline. When he mentioned Don Flamingo is a perfect example of someone family line who got done dirty. You're supposed to be the one percenter, and they did your family dirty. Not only they backstab your family, they kick you out and say you no longer wanted. And because of that, you got a vendetta. You're like, nah, I'm gonna f everything up. No one should be happy because I got done dirty. You should all suffer, even though you're innocent. So imagine that relate to Donald Trump, but even though he's not smart as Donald Trump. No, no, correct that. Don Flamingo is way smarter than Donald Trump. Trump is not as smart as Don Flamingo, but Trump is doing what he's doing. Want to f everybody up in some kind of way. That's how I look at it. But imagine the storyline is being flushed out. Imagine the type of infamy that you never thought existed. Imagine a guy who had to sacrifice himself for his daughter to be taken care of to get better health, but to lose your humanity and your sanity. It builds story that you almost crying just watching and reading. You're like, yo, this some deep dark stuff like you're reading. Like, imagine your own life. Turn your life to a story. If I take my life, I'll take Mr. Bennett's life and I'm gonna make a novel or a character and you flash out their path, their growth path, what path they have to take. Imagine how many twists and turns then life will build, and you can build like me a couple of books, maybe say 6 or 7 books, so to speak, and I won't put it to the show. It will make sense. But we have shows that don't make sense at all, that should
So
not have
David,
gone past it.
like Zoro from One Piece, I found that
hmm
character very fascinating. I'm not going to deny that.
hmm
So he's one of those characters. Hell yeah, I would like to get to know him a little better and stuff like that. But before we move on, let's get this guy on the panel. Wally, what is going on?
Oh Lord.
All right, ground rules for you and David. If you guys are fighting over the Simpsons and Family Guy, have at it. Just nothing below the belt. No juggler shots, no biting the juggler, no spitting the juggler. Fair enough.
No grabbing up the ball like Donald Trump.
The only one that's spitting the juggler would be him. Thank you very much.
Say that again.
See, understand. I didn't even need the rules, and he went this far. Okay, thank you very much.
I was joking when I said that.
And quick question, Sparta.
And yet,
What
still,
to Sparta? Quick question. What character from One Piece you said you were interested in?
Zoro.
Zoro. Yeah, he's an interesting character too. You know, but the thing is, you understand him because they've taken time to flesh him out and get you. You know, you taking time to get to know him.
For the longest time, I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of One Piece. I couldn't get into it. But I watched the live action one, a couple episodes of it on Netflix. Like, okay, let me give this another shot. So I'm actually going to give it 10 episodes. If I cannot get my attention 10 episodes, I'll give up on that point.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you this because I'm your resident expert on One Piece. Seriously, it's my favorite thing to watch or read. It's my favorite piece of media. It has been for years, apart from boxing and the fight game. But the beginning of it, okay, Romance Dawn, that arc, don't give up because keep in mind the animation came out like 22, 25 years ago or something like that, okay? Keep in mind, you're looking at a different show at that time, okay? A very different show. And it's a shonen, so it operated like a shonen at the time, okay? So you can just keep that in mind and just relax, get to know the characters, have fun with the adventures that they go on, and don't skip anything, okay? Because I'm telling you, especially once you get to Egghead Island, you find out that everything that happens in that show happened for a reason. Everything means something. Everything connects to something else. Everything, every arc in that entire show has connected in some shape, form, or fashion. Some of them are big details. Some of them are small details that you notice, but you kind of discard until later on. You're like, whoa, wait. So back then, wait a minute, but this person said this back then and that. Wow, and it connects in an important way.
Well,
unfortunately for you people, unfortunately for people who haven't been watching it, yeah, don't skip anything because you're gonna miss something.
I'll say one thing. Eventually, I know Wally and David are going to be talking about it on our anime show, so I expect you're going to be there, right, Maduro?
Hopefully, I mean, if they give me a heads up on when you're gonna do it, I'll show up and I'll listen.
I'll keep you in the loop. Yeah, one of us will have to keep you in the loop. But notice one thing: I will not be there. This will be a David and Mandrell edition.
No, you got to show up too.
Mandrell, look. I'm about to let me help you out real quick.
Oh boy, here we go.
First and foremost, hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? And first, okay, Mandrell, look, I know you are a true native of the One Piece mob gang. Look. I have not watched not 1 inch of One Piece ever, except for the first episode.
Well, all I gotta say about that, Wally, is yeah, that sucks, dude. You're missing out. You really are.
Yeah,
I'm not one of those One Piece fans that's gonna attack you for it. No immature stuff like that. It's just you really are missing out on a fantastic story.
Hey, look, and I don't blame you. Look, hey, if you did, you did. But you know what I'm saying? Because everyone has that anime that they watch, and they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yo, like Techno Man
get
with me.
shit off
Techno
when I
Man was
like
my
Sailor
favorite
Moon.
series, and it's like when I hear people don't know about like what's wrong with you, and I get where Mandrell is coming from.
Right.
Yeah, but I get shut up when I like Sailor Moon by these two people, Wally and Sparta.
So
But now when it
you're
comes to
One.
One
Okay.
Piece,
sexist.
One. No. No.
oh,
No. No.
I'm
No.
not
Let's
gonna
get
show
one
up.
thing
You're
clear. I don't
sexist.
shit on you if you don't choose to watch it. I shit on you because you're biased.
See, here's
That's
the
why.
difference between me and Wally. Here's the difference. I'm gonna shit on you because you're sexist. You don't want to watch it because of that reason.
AKA, he's biased.
You're unnumbered, my man. You're so unnumbered
You're
right now. It's funny.
respectfully biased. Like you just.
You know what,
so
David?
unwifely.
You know what? Because you're coming around. You're almost done your shows this round 2. I am gonna schedule Sailor Moon just to fuck with you.
Well, wait a minute. We schedule our own things, and technically, we're doing a bit of a different route on the next run.
I'll take a vacation.
Oh,
on that
no,
day.
you're
How
not.
about that?
Vacation.
I'll do a
Hey,
Paul
guys.
Bennett.
Yeah.
I have to go soon. I wanted
Go ahead,
to
Paul.
raise 2, and unfortunately, Mandrell left. Shoot.
Mandrell had to run too.
Yeah, yeah.
I got you. I got you.
See, I come up next thing that he got to run. See,
Good,
Mandrell,
good,
look
good,
here.
good.
You
Good,
lucky
bro.
you out here saving the world. Damn
All
it.
right. Well, look at Mandrell. If you're still listening, I would certainly like your commentary on this. We're talking about again when a series goes on too long. All right. So I have one commentary and I have a couple shows which I think most of here are old enough to remember, and I had to kind of think about it myself. And so I'm wondering if these shows will qualify. So the commentary is, what if a show changes a character? In other words, that character changes from the personality that you remember them being to maybe a softer version of themselves from before. So, for example, now again, I'm going way back here. So Mandrell might have been the only one who understood this. So 2 shows that were iconic shows back in the 70s was All in the Family, okay, Archie Bunker,
I'll carry that.
and the Jeffersons. All right.
Okay.
George
Ooh.
Jefferson. Now, if you look at these
Ooh.
shows over time, the characters softened. What you love the characters for, they were bigoted, they were, just in your face. They basically mellowed them out over time. They weren't the same aggressive people. But again, some people may have found that good. That, in other words, they matured over the course of the show. They change just as people change over the show. And some people says, I want my original Archie Bunker. I want the bigoted guy, the ignorant guy, or I want the George Jefferson who would call you names and stuff like that. They wanted that. So if you've seen shows like that, when they change a character in terms of that, they basically take the teeth out of the character. Does that mean that the show has gone on too long? So that's one thing.
Ooh.
Now, the second thing is I have a couple shows here, which again, I'm looking at this list. And I want to get your opinion on it. Again, also depending if you watch the shows or not. If you think these shows have gone on too long. So one of them is The Walking Dead. Right?
Yeah, we just
13
talked about that a minute ago.
Okay, I didn't. All right, so
No,
that's
it's
one.
fine. It's fine. Go
All
ahead.
right. The second one, Big Bang Theory, which I certainly have watched quite a number of seasons of that, I must admit. But did it go on?
Big Bang, but actually, I approved of it. That's actually
But
pretty decent.
yeah,
It's mixed review. That's why I give it thumb up and
the
thumb down.
third show is The West Wing.
Say that
Now, a
again?
lot of people think it should have went after Alan Sorkin left the show, after Bartlett had his presidential run. Should they have ended the show then? But they got a new president and everything, and it wasn't the same after that, after Alan Sorkin left the show. Should he have stayed? And then the last show, which I didn't think about, was 24. Now, again, 24 was a phenomena of the time. People were like locked in. But how many times can Jack Bauer save the world? It went on for 9 seasons, and it had a movie, and it had a comeback in 2017.
24.
So I'm thinking, I mean,
That's
it's
what the Bible told
hard to
Black
keep
was.
that edge, that tenseness for all that, for so many different seasons when you almost know how the show was going to end. Part of the charm of 24 was you didn't know how the show was going to end, but it became very formulaic after a while that, it's hard to keep that buzz.
24. Okay.
And so how can you
Well,
keep that flame going for so long when you know that, it's just not going to have that? Because, you had certain shows like, oh my gosh. And again, people were drawn out that 24, like that was a phenomenon in itself in terms of it took action TV series to another level.
They did. And that's why when you told Blacklist came out, black people were comparing Blacklist to
Right.
24.
Those four shows, 24,
Really?
West Wing,
24? Okay.
Big Bang Theory, Walking Dead. Again, if you guys already talked about that, sorry if I missed some of the conversation.
No, it's
All
fine.
those shows had almost 10 plus year season runs,
Yeah.
and was it too long? But the second thing is, if a show dramatically changes how a character that you've grown to love or hate,
Mhm.
if they change the character such where again they take the teeth out of the character, that which made you fall in love or hate them, and now they become a kinder, gentler version of themselves, is that something where you think, okay, they ran out of ideas, or you think a show's gone on too long? I'll let you guys ponder that.
Like the
What's that?
Flash. Like the Flash. That's another series.
I haven't watched too much of it. I only watched the first. I probably watched the first season of Flash, and same with Green Arrow and all those guys. I just really haven't. Smallville, I might have watched maybe 3 or 4 seasons of it, but again, 10 years of that, and at the end you just get the chest open, no Superman reveal really, because the guy for some reason didn't want the costume on. Again, that's again, I don't think you should have hired the guy if that's the case. What's the point if you're not going to have that kind of
Yeah, that was a
reveal
weak
at the end of the series? So again, you guys can. I'll continue to listen, chop it up, but I got to get I got to get some food. I got some stuff to do for tomorrow, and like I said, but I will see Sparta tomorrow night. I may hopefully like 7 may end the show a little bit early, but again, next week is 50-50. I have no idea what I'm going into next week, but I'll have my laptop and I'll have my new light here ready, portable light here ready, because again, the hotel rooms give awful lighting. So if I do show up in a show, it'll be in a hotel room, and hopefully I'll have more time to give to the shows. So but let me run, and I'll catch up with you guys later.
All right.
Good topic,
Thank you,
though.
Paul, for coming up.
You got it.
Let me say this. Paul bringing 2 excellent topics to discuss on a part 2 show, because that right there is something you got to look at. Some of these shows that go on past 8 seasons, you got to ask yourself, why did it go on that long? What was the reason behind it? Whether it was a character change, whether it was a character maturing, or there was a switching out. Like Fetching of Bel Air, they switched out, and we forgot her name, with another actor to play her part due to some contract issue. Living Single, they let go of certain people, and even though the film was going strong, but it did that franchise dirty. Did a lot of this is a topic. I promise you, a lot of people now start to go back and start thinking about certain show they love, or they grew up watching, or they enjoy because it was entertaining, and they realize something happened.
You know what? One thing, Paul, you guys mentioned when Paul was up, The Flash and Green Arrow. I thought Green Arrow was a phenomenal series. I loved everything about it. But The Flash is a whole different story. I think it should have been canceled a long time ago.
Really?
I just couldn't get into it, bro. Like that.
Give me your clear reason behind. I want to hear it, because some people say it should have gone a little further. Some say the storyline changed for something that should have done it. Because there's a lot of mixed review about the Flash. So give me your
It bored
opinion
me.
why.
Versus Green Arrow, it was more to me. It was more action packed in a different way. It was
So
more
basically, Green Arrow was straightforward, and the Flash was inconcisive as fuck, as he always is.
pretty much.
That's the straight
And what
honest
about
truth, and I
Supergirl?
personally agree. Granted, there's some things I wish they did sort of change with Flash. Now, granted, I forgot what season I left off, because I did like towards the tail end. I didn't watch the remains, but even just like looking at flashes of the stuff where they usually put the clips on YouTube, it's like most of the things I know I missed out on. I'm like, okay, I guess I didn't miss nothing, because it's like whatever you're doing. Flash was sort of too emotional in some cases, because Flash was more emotional, like with the relationships and stuff like that. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, not saying that was a negative thing towards him. I'm just saying it was just more of that ecosystem. Whereas, granted, yes, Greeno sort of had the same thing, but at least his was more of a tidbit of life more of a radical thing because his life is already chaotic.
Then what about Supergirl? Remember, they're
Oh,
all
God.
part of a circle. No, they were milking it. You know that. First was Arrow, then next Flash came. After Flash, there was Supergirl, and after Supergirl, they would have thrown into the mix Black Lightning. Then you had the lead of Legend, or what to call it, the Legend of what?
League of Legends or Legend something. No, Legend of Heroes or something like that.
But
Or no, Heroes of Tomorrow.
Legend of
Heroes of
Heroes.
Tomorrow. That's what it is. Heroes of Tomorrow.
So you had like 5 shows intertwined.
Yeah.
5 shows. So you have to be honest. Which show should have died out? Because if it would have died out, you can't complain about the part they brought them back.
I mean, Heroes of
Because there was
Tomorrow
multiple
definitely needed to
collab-
be longer because it was more futuristic. So it's like it has no choice but to be long because of that factor in it in
Okay.
its place, somewhat.
What about,
Um,
what about
huh?
Supergirl? What about Supergirl?
The only reason you have here's the thing. The reason you have Supergirl is because of Superman. You put Lois and Lane. You put Lois and Lane in there. The moment you put that, that's too late. You have no choice but to keep Supergirl on at that point.
Okay.
The only difference is I will say this though, it was sort of bad timing to put her first before Superman stuff because the timing on that is very ocky, and plus, where was he in her timeline? Unless granted, because they do have him in different timelines supposedly. Which
I'll give you
Mhm.
another example, guys. Batwoman.
Ooh.
okay, now that was a big hyper jump of popularity that they did. They jumped the gun, and plus that gun was jumped and flagged and reversed badly.
Yeah.
No, literally. We went from the chosen person to then flipping her out, put a whole new character, then a whole new different. That was epic
Hold
failure right there. It was
Hold
already
on.
done.
Now that you're getting the picture, here's the problem. How come Gotham never got a collaboration with all these?
Well,
other
that's
shows?
different. See, Gotham was a smart play. It was at the start of his youth, which honestly, out of all the projects that they did, perfect. I say that's perfect. I can't knock
I
it.
agree on that,
You
too.
cannot knock Gotham.
I stopped watching The Flash after season 8, I believe it was, with the crossover with Arrow when he killed off Oliver. And to me, at the point, like,
Mm.
I try to continue watching. The biggest reason I did watch The Flash is because it was a lot of crossovers, and I didn't want to miss anything. After
Yeah,
that,
that's the problem, right? I mean, well, no, that's not the problem, but that's one of the decentary parts because Flash is technically a speed time traveler. So
yeah. So to me, it had nothing to be like, wow, I need to go continue watching this.
And the fact that being a computer nerd, what Flash was doing, he kind of like the person who wrote the script for Flash, the made it seem like he the reason why he add more material for everybody else. Cause he changed the Arrow storyline. Cause he created a Flashpoint. Then he changed Supergirl storyline in some kind of way, but it wasn't as much. You know, from a different Earth. But they're saying that even though it's from a different Earth, it doesn't affect it. But there was a slight change people were paying attention to it, but I'm not going to talk about. Let's want to pay attention to the detail. And all the other shows that keep doing collaboration among themselves, it's almost as if they were the way of saying, okay, we screw up in Black Lightning because of one actor want to bail out. So let's do that major crossover. So we wipe out all the Earth and you cover the track for Black Lightning.
I
Think
mean,
about
yeah,
it.
but
This CW
but initially they would have to do that because again, once you already labeled all these heroes in different timeline universes, so we're receiving different images and different particles of these characters in different scenarios, which is why I say that it, like, granted, as much as I look at the order of like Supergirl coming in, then like of course you get Clark and Lois, but it's like, again, because of these different universes and all these other different visuals, it is a very wonky ideal because like you sit there and you say to yourself, how do you make this work? Because it's like, okay, you got Supergirl, but there's no Superman in this damn TV series. Like, what's the point? Because everyone's gonna be like, well, where's Clark? Where's Superman in this whole scenario?
Or somehow, every
but-
now and then,
Oh, go ahead.
Flash can break the sound barrier or get Bob into to her time zone or to her Earth. Yo, Supergirl, I need your help. Can you come to my Earth? And
One
I'm
thing
like,
I would say,
seriously?
the last episode of Arrow/Flash, from what I watched, when they brought in the movie Flash costume, versus TV show. I know you're not a fan of the movie, and I'm not going to say it was a good movie. It was really more a Batman movie than a Flash movie, in my opinion. But
I didn't knock well.
it wasn't
I
a bad
say-
movie, but it wasn't a great
The
either.
movie wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it. Well,
Agreed.
actually, matter of fact, no. Wait a minute. Because I have to think about it. Actually, yeah, technically, I'm gonna have to say it was terrible because the one thing that I sat. No, here's the reason why I realized. I just remembered because I remember I did a movie review with some guys. I did say it was okay, but then I realized after rethinking about it, it actually is terrible because who the freak was the so-called Flash thing that was constantly following? Like, okay, granted, yes, I get it. There was technically a future present time loop. So this was a person before the person before the person. But it's like, even then, it's like, is he even a character? Is he even a considered character of the Flash Rogue Gallery? And the answer is no. And you're doing it so early to the point that it's like towards the beginning, like a sort of sub-pitch origin story. It was very not that good when I thought about it.
And here they eat the egg of the Flash show. They actually put the original Flash actor who did the OG Flash
Oh, yeah.
show at a Flash of another planet.
We know that.
Yeah,
But one thing I wanted to
I like how they did that part. Where I'm saying in the last Arrow show, episode, they collabed it with the show plus. I don't think it was the same actor, but I do remember it was the costume they used in the movie was in the show. So I think they were just trying to promote the movie at the point, and that's why they did it. Also,
Yeah, because he's another universe. So yeah.
Yeah,
I see
and
that.
I can dig that. But one thing I didn't like about the last episode, you could tell Oliver knew he was going to die towards the end, the way he was talking the whole time.
Well, technically, the way how they set it up, he was supposed to be this quote unquote figure and all those other things in his timeline. So
monitor.
yeah, you know, it was what it was.
He got promoted with a new promotion. He was no longer in.
I mean, look, the way I look at it is like this: the Green Arrow, aka just the Arrow show, he got Batman treatment in his TV series. that's the truth. Like, he got Batman. That's how you know it was good. You got Batman treatment because that's like Batman type of level type stuff. You can't.
And the fact that was going on the Arrow show, but in Gotham, I don't know when it was left. He was young, but he haven't reached the point where he became Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. I'm wondering where this will connect because as these characters get older, you just cancel the part. They can't do no collaboration with Batman.
No, well, technically they did, but he was the old version, the one that was out the door. Yeah,
Okay.
because if you look at Batwoman, you saw the old version when they collaborated. You saw the old version, but he was the outdated one.
Mm.
He was the outdated. He was pretty
I
much
get it.
on his last limbs. Everything else, he was on a whole nother wave. It was crazy. But
I get
but
it.
yeah, but
this-
other than my small little tidbit on the whole Supergirl, I mean, granted, I understand that different universes, and I know that in usually different universes, Supergirl actually comes before Clark, give or take. I don't know, I don't remember, but usually that's how they tell the stories. But yeah, but a lot of it was just very interesting. But even with the whole tidbits of trying to align it, I mean, granted, if they were to ever expound it to be anything else, it would just be this big tidbit. But the thing is, one of the many cautionary tales with these stories, especially with James Gunn coming in and being the co-CEO of DC, was you're saying you're trying to link these stories, you're trying to link the TV shows, the animated series, and then even the movies together. Like, you're trying to set that up as a major project. And I was like, you do know by you saying that you ain't really did anything. And I mean, and the reason why I say that is because, well, granted, like you said, right? Towards the end of the Flash, they showed the other guy that looks like he was in the movies, you know, trying to promote that and all that and everything else, right? Okay, cool. You send off one version, then there's the other version. Here's the other loop of everything else, and everything else intertwined, interchangeable. All right, cool, right? Which technically able to quote unquote fast forwards us to the current day of the new Superman that we have in this new universe of DC, right? Where we future jump, we're in here, we got multiple heroes being seen in the spotlight, everything else, even though it's just the subpars because we don't got the main heads yet for whatever reasons. Yeah, okay, make sense. And then, you know, you let it be what it is, right? But you know it's highly in the future. Why? Because you got Crypto, you got Superman. Eventually they show Supergirl which is quote unquote Supergirl of I think what I forgot what comic it is, but it's the one that shows her with the sword in hand. But yeah, that's the Supergirl they're going off. That's the one that gets really drunk and really depressed because Krypton being destroyed and everything. So that's the one that they're supposedly depicting in that one, as I heard. But yeah, but I mean, the thing is with these is a cautionary tale, which is why I'm saying like comic books, as much as they constantly keep revamping or stuff like that, it's just like one, this goes back to A, are you really following the material, or B, is the material that you already wrote in comic books through multiple visuals because of multiple different comic book writers are just as skewed as projects.
Now, I'm glad you picked that up. Now, let's look at the big pictures. Why there's so many shows out there don't have a unique storyline to tell that are making any kind of sense, allowed to have way more than 8 seasons when there's no story building across the board. That's why I shoot at Simpsons. That's why I shoot at Family Guy.
See, we
Yeah,
talking
I
about
shoot
comics, and
American
he
Dad.
flips over to the damn cartoon animation.
No, because
You know what? I
need
didn't say nothing. I was holding that. All right.
I was being very logical. This is
You're
why
logical.
when you make the topic, I'm being logical because you say watch your show to have way more than 8 seasons. If you don't have a compelling story, when you're trying to flush out the ideas, like something show like Game of Thrones, I totally agree with Mandel. Game of Thrones should get more than 8 seasons because there's a storyline you're trying to flush out. There's an idea you're trying to flush out. I totally understand that. But there's some show, there was no freaking storyline, and they got 20, 30. I'm like, dude, shoot it in the kneecap. It got to do. Golden Yellow cannot go any longer than that. A dog lasts for what, 6, 7 years? This show should have died a long time ago.
What kind of dog you have when it's 6, 7 years? Dogs usually survive 8
I'm
years
just
on a minimum. On golden
okay, 8 years.
some breeds
Yeah,
hang on, dachshunds and beagles can go up to 15 years. Chihuahuas 20 years.
I ain't know about that one. I thought dog only last for like a set amount of time.
That's how you take
When
care
I'm
of your
when I'm
dog, dude.
when
That's
I'm
what it comes down to.
but the thing is, some of these shows should have last time. They were like dead dogs. There was nothing. There was no substance in these shows. It was just almost like a bunch of brain dead nonsense. It was like watching Beavis and Butthead got stabbed with steroids and he converted them to something that I don't want to see. That's how I felt about The Simpsons. That's how I felt about American Dad. That's how I felt about Family Guy. Those three, I was looking, I watched it for the first 2 seasons, trying to make sense. After a while, I was like, this is some piece of shit. And to find out it went that long, for how long? And yet, we have people shitting on other TV shows or series that actually have a compelling storyline. But we have some redneck, trailer park, good for nothing, retarded ass shows that could have got done with a double barrel shotgun, but yet you put more juice in it just to milk it. Like Spun by SquarePants, that didn't grow. You're doing a Pokemon reject. We know Ash, everybody was criticizing Ash. The guy never grew. You'll tell me he was a 12-year-old for 15 years? Like, what the hell? Digimon, they were growth. They aged well. Ash did not age well. He took a BBL from Miami and said, "Don't make me get old. Let me stay younger."
And guess what? That was Anime's choice. And guess what?
And
What is Pokemon based on again? What did I told you last time when we had this argument? What did I told you?
I
What was it
know.
based on, sir?
Toy sales.
No.
and
The secret
pocket
messages in
monsters.
freaking Pokemon was simple. Kids taking care of their godforsaken pets. That's the secret underlying message of Pokemon, in my honest opinion. You raise it, you feed it,
Yeah.
you train it. That's the reality of it.
And we get it. But you put to grow with your pet. Your pet grew, but you didn't grow. How that makes sense?
You're gonna stay on this
Yeah.
kingdom age.
Yeah, I know. He took a forever BBL for Doctor. He took a forever BBL for Doctor Miami. Don't let me age. My pet will not gonna recognize me when I get older.
Age didn't age well. Gary, aka Blue, didn't age well. Mofos and Ranches didn't age well. Like, who cares? Like, what the frick? Like
All right.
literally, like who honestly cares? Like I don't give a rat's if Ash doesn't age for 20 more years if he showed them. Why you think they took them out and put him in the back of the freaking yard and put some new kids on the block? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, but you know why? He was Drake. How
He
about
was
that?
Drake. Drake who?
Ask for the Drake.
Who's Drake? Don't tell me. No. Don't you dare do that garbage.
You don't get it.
Don't you dare.
You
No,
didn't get it, did you?
no,
Uh-huh.
no,
Uh-huh.
no.
Uh-huh.
Look. One, don't you dare assault Ash with comparing him to Drake. At least when Ash actually win, he win with honor. That motherfucker couldn't win with shit, and he's still crying like a little bitch. There's a difference.
So why Ash doing the A minor?
Amongst what?
All right, I think it's time for get our final thoughts. David, you go first.
You see this, ladies and gentlemen, you see this blasphemy? You see this blasphemy? You're reaching far, boy. You're reaching far. Don't let me have a second moment for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was a very interesting show to get somebody wild up.
Yes, because he can't.
Yeah, we talk about
You know what? This is the problem with this man right here. This is the problem with this man. All right. You asking for it. Don't you dare.
ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm an evil genius undercover.
Evil G's my
I
behind.
love this show.
You take some
I
L's.
love the topic. They were a very interesting and well need to talk about topic because we have a lot of stuff on the TV airway that should not be on the TV airway after a certain amount of season. 6 seasons for certain shows, that should be enough. But somehow we gave them steroids, we gave them BBL, we gave it Botox, and it lasts for more than 30 plus seasons, 20 plus seasons, which I'm wondering why. But yet we have other shows that deserve to go a little further because they have great storytelling, great world building, great plot twists that always makes you want to wait for next week to see what's going to happen next. Those are the shows that should be respected. I respect Game of Thrones because I never watch it, but really, but it was something that gravitated a lot of audience to see what would happen next. You didn't think you for watching. You need to get it out of my way. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm that cool. Let me put myself in that mix. But the problem is, I have certain shows should not have gone that long. That's just my thought process. I don't care what anybody say. If you don't have a comparative storyline, you need to retire a long time ago. That is my final thought. I could care less how much they injected you with. My way put kryptonite in you. How about that? Say what you want to say.
This is your
Ladies and
chance to
gentlemen,
roast them now.
I wasn't here for a long time. I was here for a short time. But understand, for the amount of blasphemy that I've heard so far from this man's mouth,
Truth telling.
you know,
Truth
look.
telling.
I must be always the balance that comes in and saves the righteousness of some of these shows, aka Family Guy and Simpsons. Granted, yes, I will admit, do they have a compelling storyline start to finish? Of course they don't. It's a cartoon for comedy to make you laugh. It's not supposed to have a compelling story. That same thing with Futurama. Same thing. Not supposed to have a compelling story, but hey, it's fixed. It is what it is. Sell it for what you want to sell it for. Hey, whatever. But one thing is very much true with all things that don't have a compelling story. They still show you tidbits of things that you can reflect in your own livelihood. Perfect fucking example. For those that shitted on Simpsons, aka someone here, listen to one thing.
AKA the truth teller.
Truth killer my ass. The only one truth killer here is me. Look here. When you think about the Simpsons, I want you to understand this. Look very closely at the Simpsons. Notice one thing. If you ask yourself to this day, which kids were very much nurtured? Lisa and her sister, right? Most of the time, they were the most nurtured one of them all, right? And guess what? The ones that are nurtured the most, they do what? They get good grades. They pan out in life. They do pretty good, right? And then you get Bart, the one that ain't nurtured for almost a lick of shit throughout the whole thing. And notice what happens. He's on the wild side. He's on the edge. He's out here doing so much things, getting in trouble, all that fuckery, which tends to
Why didn't he get kicked? Why didn't he get kicked out of the home?
see this person wants to keep on talking, but he knows I'm about to set up a point. Silence you. But yes, notice the two different characters, right? Notice the two different styles of parenting, where one is nurtured and the other one is just thrown to the wayside, as if he just rambunctious for nothing. Notice one thing: Bart, in the condition of how he was raised, for most cases by his damn father, he was already raised in that condition of chaos. So guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna go out there and go live on the wild side, like he always does. Just look at the freaking intro when they start the damn Simpson shows off. You see him riding that skateboard and doing a whole bunch of crazy things and everything else. He's on the hoots. He's on the hoots. And then you get Lisa, the smart, educated mofo that's just probably the best character in the whole family. Smartest character in the whole family. And then you got Marge, a character that they finally actually killed off in The Simpsons, which honestly, I'm very surprised they did that. I'm surprised they did that. I'm so sorry for all those Marge fans, because I didn't think they were going to do that shit. I did not think. But hey, funny take. They might do something crazy with Homer at this point. Who knows? I don't know. I don't care. It don't matter. As long as I keep on laughing for the comedy, that's what I'm there for anyways, right? But then let's go back to another key point, right? Then you got another key archetype amongst this. Homer himself. Homer, you could say he had his father, probably had his mother. I don't know. They showed his mother too much. I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't care, right? But notice one thing. Homer was pretty much the cartoon version of Forrest effing Gump, in a sense. The only thing is his wife wasn't a fucking cheater and didn't leave him with kids and magically just freaking died at the end of the damn day. And sort of loved him even though he was an idiot. But pretty much the same freaking archetype with just a whole different malfunctional standpoint. All I'm saying is, look, it's just parenting. Just look at it. It's a show about parenting. If you look very closely, you will see if you lack, there will be a whole bunch of dysfunctions in the household. And that's a clear sign of it all. Now, granted, you're going to laugh at it, but if you look at it for the serious parts, if you're failing, this is showing you why. And then any other tidbits that they showed in there along the way that's also crucial in the world, and blase, etc., whatever. Right? At the end of the day, look, I don't watch Family Guy or Simpsons for the compelling storyline. I watch it because it's hilarious as fuck and it makes me laugh. That's all I care for. If you're looking for storytelling with those two shows and any other shows that are similar to it, then you fucking lost. You lost right there. You just lost. Now, if you're looking to laugh and you don't care how they sell it, by all means, you came to the right fucking place. Because guess what? I can say the same thing about South Park. Why the hell do they keep pushing that damn thing? No, it's been like freaking like 10 plus seasons maybe. Guess what? It's fucking hilarious as fuck. That's all it is. It's hilarious as hell. And guess what? They're still the same mini motherfuckers since day one. You dig? Okay? But look, either which way, I get it. It don't got no storyline. It sucks. Blase, whatever. I like it because it just makes me laugh. And if it can keep making me laugh, why should it die? Why should it die? Why should it die? You got no answer to that. Because guess what? That's like telling a fucking comedian that you love to stop doing comedian shows and making you laugh. Why would you want to die if he can keep making you laugh? Why would you want him to be done and retire if he can keep making you laugh? No, you're gonna keep him going and make him make that money because he's making you laugh. God damn it. You're damn right. Same thing with these shows. As long as they keep making me laugh, they're good to go. Other than that, yeah. But going back to a little bit with Paul Bennett said about the characters changing, you keep shaking your head all you want to. You can feel disgusted. At the end of the damn day, until you watch Sailor Moon, you can tell me about any of these other shows. Okay, that's what thing. Until then, silencio.
Until you watch One Piece, then you can tell me about any other show. How about that?
Hey, look, it won't be hard for me to watch One Piece as it will be hard for you to watch fucking Sailor Moon with your biased, incredible having ass.
I don't know. You gotta hijack me, kidnap me.
Exactly. Me,
up,
all I gotta do is watch the damn
so.
thing, regardless if I love it or hate it. I'm just gonna watch it because again, it's all content. At the end of the day, I will give my critiques where I give it because it is what it is. It is there for judgment for a reason. But yeah, going back to what Paul Penny said about the characters changing. For me personally, I don't see it as a bad thing. I see it as it's just the ideal way of life. Think about it. Yes, you're going to be that young and rambunctious person all the time. You know, be that gut wrencher, be that person that punches you in the face every single moment of the time, right? But as you get older, eventually you get tired, and eventually you're like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I got to keep going this way? Why do I must feed this anger and disappointment, knowing I know who the hell these people are in front of me? No. I need to savor my life because this is the last piece I have left. And I'll be damned if I allow myself to go to that other side when I was younger and hungrier to do so. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, in some cases it is, keyword, in some cases. But let's be real here. Paul Bundy was not that much of a simp. That nigga was ripping the daily hell out of people. Wait. Is it Paul Bundy or Al Bundy? Which one is y'all talking about?
For what show?
Al Bundy.
Okay, I don't remember
Love
the show
and
he was in.
marriage, love and marriage.
Yeah,
Maybe
isn't that,
I'll
that's
sing
Al
it.
Bundy.
Together like a horse and carriage.
He was not. I mean, shit.
Ting tang, walla walla bang bang. Ooh ee, ting tang, walla walla bang bang.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't call him much of a simp though. I would call him much of a. He knows he got himself trapped into a loop of infinity of unreturnables. Because let's be real here. Oh, trust me. Look, if he knew he could return it, he would. And Al know he could not return it, let alone refrain from it. I wouldn't call him a simp for that.
No.
I would just call him just.
No, he was locked in already after 2 kids.
My point is
All right,
that.
guys. So this was an interesting show. Let's be honest here. My opinion is still as beginning of the show. It's still going to be the end. Anything over 8 seasons is way too much, in my opinion. That's my opinion. There are exceptions to that rule.
Damn right there is.
Wally, don't make me push the button.
Go ahead. What difference? Exactly. What difference? See, I thought he was going to go with the other one. Either which way. He went with this one. Like,
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
You guys have been good tonight, so I never hit it once. Game of Thrones is one of those exceptions to that rule, I think. One
the only
Piece,
exception. Okay, interesting.
I say one of the exceptions off my head. One Piece, yeah, it can be a little long, but is it worth it? I don't know yet. And I haven't gotten that far yet. David, you gotta give me. I'm only on episode 3. You gotta give me credit.
Hey, at least you're better than me.
Yeah. Let's do.
Yeah, when they kidnapped me for Sailor Moon.
Hey, you're biased. I'm not. There's a difference.
You're gonna be watching.
You will be shunned until you do so.
But
You'll be shunned.
Come
tomorrow
kidnap me.
night, we're
I
on the
believe you.
gray area. We're gonna be speaking about is using AI to to change someone's voice or facial without their permission.
Oh Lord, they've been doing that for a while now.
Yeah. And what are we here? On Tuesday, we are speaking about dating forward, looking back when your ex is still on your mind. Hey, yeah. And Bleach, you guys are talking about Bleach on Wednesday. And on Thursday, stuck on the scale. Paul and Coach will be talking about that. And next week we will be talking here is oh boy, we might need some backup on this one. Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
Oh boy. I might call a couple of people who will take on the Mortal Kombat fan base. I'm not sure about the Street Fighter fan base. I do both sides, but it's hard to compare both of them because they both have strong points and they both have some weak points. So there may be some verbal jabs, so to speak.
Go for it, Wally. I see you get warmed up.
First and foremost, look here for all you out there that are Street Fighters. Look, I love both games. I love both sides of the stick. But let's get one thing clear. Other than Akuma, literally, I'm sorry, but when you talk about fatality and brutality and the way they have to do it, I'm sorry, but no. As far as we're talking about just them as a show or whatever instance or whatever in the spectrum, but if we're talking about in games, man, Mortal Kombat all day, all fucking day. I'm sorry, no, all day. I love Street Fighter. I grew up on it. My brother made me grow up, but I grew up on both games. Mortal Kombat all day.
I go on both too, but I'm more a Street Fighter guy. But one thing I will say before the show, guys, watch the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat movie.
I put the trailer on Discord server on our Discord.
No,
server.
I seen it. I saw it way
Okay.
before that. I got the early peek from CQ.
Okay.
Thanks, CQ.
Okay.
But check it out because I want to bring that up to next week's episode. Except that, David, last words.
I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any comment based on today's topic, because we're going to do a part 2, put your comment down after the show. List your show that you think should allow to go more than 8 seasons and give a reason why. And list your show that should never, ever get more than 8 seasons and list your reason why.
Or plus
So we
two,
go read on
ask
this.
some questions based upon the thought process of why these shows went as long as they did.
Because I might be right, he might be right, I might be wrong, he might be wrong, but I want your honest opinion. Please let it be on my side so I can
Yo, Don, what
rain
it
on
is,
his
man?
coattail. I'm gonna please be on
Anyway,
my side
David.
so next episode I can rain on his coattail, be like, ha, see, people on my
Wally, you
side.
got anything before we go?
Yes, I'm gonna add one more thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you choose David's side amongst Family Guy and Simpsons. I'm still gonna watch it just to laugh. Again, I already agreed that they don't have a compelling storyline. Duh. It's called comedy. It's not called sell you fucking Family Matters. That's just the
You have
whole
a good
reality.
point there.
Well, granted, I should have used a different one, but you know that's the first one that came in my head.
And that's why the American side is screwed up because of the Simpsons.
You can
Anyway,
say that if you want to. I mean, pick and choose. That just goes. Hey, is that more a reflection of American society or the Simpsons?
ladies and gentlemen, this was a Spartan SU Network. I am the Spartan. He is Black David. He is Wally. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.